All right, I'm here. I had to grab my stuff. I had to grab my stuff. But hey, this is Sagadness, and as the title suggests, we're doing a drawing stream today. I've had some stuff on my mind that I've been wanting to get onto paper. So if we could maybe not drop my keyboard, that would be great. Yeah, so anyway, I need to wow get my oh wait, no, it's not here. Probably shouldn't be holding it in my hand, honestly. Whoops, that was actually even the wrong one. Because I don't remember how to do stuff and things. There we go. Y'all are over here. That's normally where I have the camera for like art screams and stuff. And my mic is right here. Now I gotta move everything all over the place. Got a couple pieces of lead in there still, so that's good. Okay. Also, hi Nelly. Welcome to the stream. Even though you're here like, well, no, technically you were here on time. I started late, so that's on me. I don't remember how to just make this black. Because it's supposed to just show my what's it called, so I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. It's gonna look just bad in general, but look. Look. Don't judge me, okay? I'm boinked out, okay? We just gonna go ahead and we just gonna double this up. Just pretend like you ain't see none of that. You just gonna see scream on screen, okay? That's what we gonna do. Scream on screen. Actually, no, because that looks super ghetto. Boy, all right. I'm pretty sure there's like a thing for it. I can't think, bro. I don't know. Also, is it just looping? What's actually happening? Because, like, obviously I'm not looping. But on the screen, it's like constantly looping. I actually don't know. You know what? I'm gonna figure this out. Just give me 1 second. fix my keyboard. I'm still here, but I'm looking up something real quick. Also, on the audio, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how loud is it? Because I have it like super, super low to avoid copyright. Because obviously I don't own the music, like at all. But like I need some music. So yeah. And obviously the particular things that I'm listening to are already on the platform. So they're safe to be here. But you know, whatever. Actually, I literally just had like I just had an amazing idea. I could just do this. Duh, smart guy. I could literally just do that. I could literally just do that. I could literally just do that. Duh. I don't know why it took me a couple minutes to think of that. Also, my bad, Twatch peeps. I forgot to open the chat. Maybe. Also, since my what's it called is so dark, I'm going to put y'all on the other side. So that way y'all can actually be red and jump. Also, y'all like my lights? Alright. Let me quit farting around. Supposed to be getting down to business. I need a scrunchie. I didn't think this through. And I don't have any like twist ties or anything like that. I don't. Nope, I do have a twist tie actually. I lied. They're just up here. Just out of reach. But I got one. Alright. I gotta attach y'all to the mini tripod. So that way if stuff starts slipping and sliding for whatever reason, it won't go too far. And I know a lot of people are like digital artists. But me myself, you know, I am very much a classic artist. I prefer my art on paper. I've tried like drawing through like probably not that many programs, and it was only a handful of times. And technically I do have a what's it called? Like a Wacom tablet. But it's probably like super old and like outdated. And I've used it like a handful of times, but it was literally years ago. Get to a new page. So the what's it called that I wanted to try and draw was I've been thinking about an OC of mine uh pretty much since like the beginning of the week, I want to say. And I haven't thought about her in a while. Like, I recently was talking about her to one of my friends, and I just started thinking about them again. After I found out about this new song. Burpee, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be screaming. Also, why are you doing that? Be one color. The hell? Provide me with light! Alright. So that way y'all can see the paper just a little bit better. A birthday? Oh, so your scream's over already? Dowish Queek. Y'all are probably gonna see the light like right here. Were you enjoying the Metro Prime, bubba? I've never played a Metroid game before, but I hear they're pretty shooty. Maybe that's like not the best spot for it. Maybe it should actually be like up here, maybe? Because it can sit on top of my keys pretty nicely. So maybe I'll just have it over there. Put my phone in the corner. Or not? Question mark? Actually, I'm going to put y'all right under the webcam. My YouTube chat is here. My Twitch chat is over there. Also, it's not showing the chat on the, what's it called? I don't know why. But you know what? I don't think I feel like trying to troubleshoot that right now. So I don't think I will. Yeah, I don't think I feel like doing that. So I'm not. Anyways, well, it's for the paper. What are you talking about? Ignore the snoogie. Ignore the snoogie. Focus on the paper. Focus on the paper. Also, can't see all the paper. Anyways, I can't even like zoom in really. Dang it, mouse. Get out of the way. I like my stickers on the back of my phone. These are just my 3 moods, majority of the time. I'm always tired, sleepy. And when I'm not tired or sleepy, I'm obsessing over something. And in this case, the thing I'm obsessing over, which I definitely went off on a tangent about the freaking old ass tablet I haven't used in like the longest time. It's not even actually like, it's just a drawing tablet. But still, I got it years ago. But I'm not gonna start rambling about it again, because then I'm never going to get to my point, and I'm not going to start what I was supposed to be drawing anyways. I was thinking about my OC, and this particular OC is Undertale related. Now, for those who know about Undertale, I'm not going to sit here and go on to a tangent about Undertale, but it is also from an AU, which is an alternate universe of Undertale. This particular AU is called Underfell, which is supposed to be like the evil alternate universe or whatever. But it's more so No, it's supposed to be like the evil bastard type of thing. But, you know. But my OC, the way my version of that particular AU works is that instead of there being a fallen child, there is an adult human that falls into the underground. And this particular human's name is Rose. And to make it a long story short, Rose ain't a child, okay? And coming across these mean spirited monsters, it's not immediate racism or anything like that, because oh, what the hell are these things? Why do they look like that? Blah 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 blah. It was never anything like that. And just like anybody else's OCs, to a certain extent, these OCs are pretty much self-inserts of myself, and or they are made in my image and also carry my personality traits. I'm not with the fuck shit. All right? You can be different from me all the hell you can be, and that makes me no difference. As long as you're not going out of your way to do me any harm, whatever you got going on over there, whatever you look like, ain't got nothing to do with me. We don't have any problems. But if you want to squabble, we can squabble. But I'm not going to go out of my way to cause you harm unless you cause me harm first. And the difference between Rose and I in particular is that she smiles a lot more than I do. I wouldn't even say that I'm a happy person, but I do have the capacity to be happy. She does as well. But she also isn't like a smile in your face type of person, or she's very much a kill them with kindness type of person. Me, like in real life, to me that's masking. And I can't do that. That burns up way too much energy. And that's just not something I do. But I am just going to, I do have the capacity to be happy. Like, I'm not happy 100% of the time. I don't smile 100% of the time. I can be happy, but that doesn't mean that I am. Like when people go to parties but they don't want to be there, they can still have fun even if they don't want to be there. You get what I mean? Like, you can really, really like bacon, but you don't want to eat it all the time. That was probably a bad analogy. Never mind. It's really a really bad analogy. But to get back to the mini backstory for Rose in this AU, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think anybody anywhere in the world is 100% happy all the fucking time. Hell no. And if they try to say they do, they are fucking lying. They are a goddamn liar. Hell no, they're not. They're no. No, absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. But I'm bad at multitasking when I'm doing something physical and I'm also trying to think of things. Rose goes through the underground. She's not fighting the monsters, which is like a normal thing that the human does when they pass through the underground in Undertale in general. But instead of fighting back per se, in the same sort of vein as there being a pacifist run and like the OG game, Rose does something similar. But obviously these monsters come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, age ranges, blah blah blah, but they're supposed to be evil, right? Now Rose she's pretty chill, and she, you know, is being faced with not these consequences, a difficult situation. Prior to getting to the underground, she was in a relationship with some dude. Dude was just not it. No, I'm not even gonna say he was a red flag. He just wasn't a fucking good person. And, you know, she decided that she was done with the relationship. She wanted to leave, and she's like, I don't want to go through this with you anymore. I'm hanging this up. I don't want it. And he's like, well, you're not just gonna leave me, blah blah blah. They get into like a whole verbal thing, and you know, he attempts to get physical with her, and that does not end well for him, because it, like, in a stereotypical type of fashion, some men that do terrible things to their romantic partners, once they get to a certain point in the relationship or whenever, they, at least from what I've heard, I haven't been in any sort of relationship where a man has had the balls to attempt to put his hands on me, let alone raise his voice at me like I'm supposed to be afraid of him or something. He did not, it just didn't cross his mind that the lady he was dating could possibly put him on his ass. And that's exactly what the hell happened. He attempted to go all Donkey Kong and masculine on Rose, and it did not turn out in his favor, and she decided to leave. She ended up going on a walk through a nearby forest that was just outside of town, a place where she would go to not fairly often, but she would go every now and then. And, you know, she would go there to clear her mind, or just to think in general, just to, you know, go. Bye, Burpee. Thanks for coming and stopping by. She would kind of just go there to think every now and then, not too often, not too frequently or anything like that. And she somehow misses, like, a gaping hole in the forest, and she ends up falling into this big ass hole. And this particular hole leads to the underground, into this Mount Ebbet, or whatever I would call it in that particular AU. I'd never changed the name of the mountain. But she falls into this particular space where these monsters are residing in. She gets down there, she's encountering all these monsters. And, of course, their main thing is like, oh, well, we want to take revenge on the humans and blah, blah, blah. So everyone is either just being outwardly, like, pissy towards her, and or they may or may not just be trying to kill her, and she's not taking it laying down. Like, if you're being hostile towards me, of course I'm going to defend myself, right? So she is making her way through. She is told by Toriel, because of course she's one of the first monsters that she ends up encountering. Even though Toriel is technically evil in this AU, she's not, from what I can remember, her character in this AU is not evil. She's just broken. She's mourned 2 children, the loss of her marriage, and everything around her is just messed up. And, you know, she's psychotic, but she's not evil. So Rose is able to talk with Toriel, just talk normally, and she gets a lot of information from Toriel. She gets a lot of information about how things work in the underground, how it's not safe to leave the ruins, you know, like she would do in the normal game. And, you know, eventually Rose tries to leave, and Toriel's like, no, you can't leave, it's not safe, blah, blah, blah. And Rose is like, you can't keep me here. Like, I don't want to hurt you, but you can't keep me here. Like, whatever is gonna happen, I'm gonna have to handle that myself. I'm an adult. If you want to stay here because this is where you feel safe, that's totally fine. But I gotta get home, so I gotta go. So, you know, she's going and going and going, encounters a couple of other monsters, and she knows how intent works underground. Now, in the base game, the one thing that humans have over monsters, without them being able to use magic per se, is intent. If a human is in the thought process of being, of like, if they're in the thought process of committing harm to whoever they're encountering, it's maybe a form of the hell is the word? Manifestation? Question mark? Can't think of an actual like way to describe it. But think of something you think about becoming reality, kind of like a wish, but it's made into maybe a physical form of sorts, and or it's just something that becomes, I don't think feasible is the right word either. Like, okay, so for an example, if Rose was encountering someone who was very obviously coming at her verbally, you know, with the intent to take her life, right? And she's like, well, I don't want to hurt you, but I'm going to defend myself. She would be able to harm the individual coming at her, but she would not, under any circumstance, as long as her mindset does not change, would she be able to kill that monster, because that's not what she wants to do. Now, on the flip side, if she decided that she did want to start killing anybody in the underground that happens to be a monster, she would do a lot more damage. It's all about mindset for the most part. So she's in the mindset that these people, like, they're in their own, like, they're stuck in their ways. There's nothing I can do to change their minds, really, but I'm not trying to cause nobody no harm. I'm just passing through. So she's going through, she encounters a couple of people, well, a lot of people actually, because there's a lot of monsters. So she's battling and battling and battling. She's not killing anyone, but she's winning these fights because she can defend herself without killing anybody. And eventually she meets Felsands. And he's like, well, he's still in his very much like lazy mindset where, what the hell, why is there a human here? And why are you so big? Like, aren't you supposed to be like a kid or something? And she's like, no, obviously not. Like, what kid looks like me? Or, like, have you never seen an adult before? And, you know, like, they shoot the shit, they talk for a little while, and eventually, you know, like, he fucks off somewhere else. And, you know, like, she was trying to drill him with questions on how to leave the underground, and he's like, yeah, no, you're not leaving. There's no way you can leave unless you plan on killing the king, because you trying to do this whole, you know, kill him with kindness thing ain't gonna work down here. Like, the people you've encountered in this particular town, like, they're not shit compared to the people that are closer to where the king is at, you know? So you'd be better off just giving your soul up or deciding to stay, because there's nothing you can do to leave. And she's like, well, that's not gonna fucking work. Fast forward a bit more time. There is like a time lapse. She's there in the underground for a couple of years, actually. Her and Sans get rather close. They actually become friends. Of course, there are other highly dangerous individuals that she has not encountered, but she hears a lot about. She's seen them physically, but they have not seen her. And the second area, because the ruin is technically the first, the area where Sans and Papyrus live in the OG game, and obviously in any other AU, unless it's like one where they don't live in Snowden, she eventually comes up with a plan to rally the monsters in their town to overthrow the king. And some of them are on board, and a lot of them are like, well, that's not gonna fucking work. Like, the freaking royal guard will kill everybody who attempts to, you know, try to overtake the king. Like, what do you, like, are you crazy? How the hell is that gonna work? And she's trying to also convince Sans to join as well. And he's like, well, what the hell makes you think I'm gonna join this fight? I can't fight. Like, I'm weak as fuck. I take one hit, I'm dead. Like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, nah, that's, like, I know you can do something, You're just acting as if you can't do anything. But sure. And they have like a sort of flirty relationship, kind of, sort of, where they may or may not just be flirting back and forth. Real cutesy, real slow burn, kind of, sort of. But you know, like it has like its moments where it's more than a slow burn. But obviously they're not in like a full-fledged relationship. Fast forward a bit more time, and Rose eventually makes her way to the capital. The capital is pretty much towards the end of the game, towards the exit of the underground. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of monsters there that work specifically for the king, to protect the king, blah, blah, blah. And the hell? What did my thing minimize? That was weird. She gets to the king, and he was like, I've been hearing rumors about somebody, some human, hiding in the underground. I was wondering when you'd finally, like, you know, reveal yourself or whatever. He's like, it doesn't matter what you do. You know, like, you're not leaving. I'm going to take your soul. I'm going to break the barrier. And then I'm going to start a war on the surface. And she's like, well, no, because I have family and loved ones on the surface, if that's what you want to call it. So you can't do that. And he's like, well, how exactly do you plan on stopping me? And she's like, I'm going to take you down, but I'm not going to, like, I'll do whatever I need to. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. And technically she does die to Asgore a couple of times. I don't think I wrote down canonically how many times she dies to him, because like any other human in the underground, adult or not, they have the ability to reset. I don't think it's magic related, but I think it's just something about the underground, probably like passive magic or some shit from like the ancients or whatever they call them. The ancient humans that used to live in the underground before they locked the monsters there and just left them there to rot, I guess. Freaking she's able to take down Asgore. And of course he wasn't involved in the fight, but she's fairly beat up when she actually manages to beat Asgore, and he's just so fucking dumbfounded that not only did a human beat him, because that's never happened before, but the fact that this human did not kill him when he flat out was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking murder you. But you still you didn't kill me? Like, yeah, you hurt me, like I'm hurt, I'm beat the hell up, but you had no intent of taking my life also? And she's like, no. Like, there's a saying that humans have that every life is precious, and even though you're monsters and you're not human like I am, I still think that your lives are precious as well, even if you don't think so. And I don't think that your plan to go to war with humanity is a good idea, because not all humans are bad. Just like not all monsters are bad, even if they want you to think so. Because she's been in the underground for a couple of years now, and most monsters that reside there are not evil like they portray themselves to be. They only act that way for protection. From Hoops and Yo-Yos. I've never heard of that in my entire life. Is that a game? I've actually never heard of that. Totally new to me. That must be new. But also, hello, Mao. Welcome to the screen. Where was I at? Yeah. So Asgore is not completely incapacitated, but he's fairly beat the hell up. Pokemon style, he's unable to continue. Alright? And, you know, Sans enters the picture and he's like, you somehow managed to beat Asgore? like you just beat the king. She's like, to be fair, it took a really, really long time. But yeah, I guess I did. She's like, you don't have to stay here. You keep talking about how you don't want to be here, why you like how you don't want to live this life anymore, how you want something else for yourself. You don't have to do much, but just trust me. There's something better for you on the surface if you let me help you. And he is like this close, like that close to saying yes. And then Papyrus calls out to his brother, and he's like, so you're a traitor now, fraternizing with the human. You were planning on just leaving. Ew. I have never heard of that game. Also, 2001? Jesus. What system was that on? That sounds like it might have been a Nintendo game, honestly. I've never heard of that game in my life. Sounds like it would be cute, though. Papyrus calls out to him, just starts reading this man for filth, calling him every name in the book. And of course, because of their dynamic as brothers, Papyrus is always extremely verbally abusive towards his brother. And, you know, him dealing with that for such a long time, the only way he can really cope with it is just kind of by shutting down. And Rose is like, well, what are you planning on doing? Because we're leaving. And of course, he gives up like immediately. Not Papyrus. Sans gives up. Like, he's like, it's not worth it. I don't feel like dealing with the trouble. You go on ahead, you know, don't worry about me. I'll just stay. And she's like, no, you said you wanted to try, so you're going to try. So she grabs his arm and she tries pulling him towards the barrier, which is the exit of the underground. And Papyrus is like, you're not taking him anywhere. Like, he's staying here, and I'm going to kill you because obviously you've filled his head with a bunch of bullshit. And now I have to rectify whatever the hell bullshit you put in his head. And Papyrus starts to attack. And he tries to attack Sans. Rose gets in the way. She like kind of like pushes Sans out of the way. She takes a hit. Hurts a good bit because obviously Papyrus is fucking angry and he's obviously in the mindset of murder where he's just like, nah, like I'm done fucking around with this. Because he throws temper tantrums. So he's like, I don't like this situation, so I'm just gonna fuck everything up. And, you know, Rose knowing how Sans is set up. The heck happened to the messages? Okay. She starts fighting Papyrus, and he keeps trying to attack Sans. So Sans is technically in the fight with her, but he's not doing anything. He's kind of just like frozen in place. And she's taking all of these extra hits that she doesn't need to take, but you know, like she's tanking them. She doesn't care. And it's gonna be kind of Mary Sue-ish, maybe. But at some point during the fight, Sans sees that Rose is starting to run out of steam. And since they're kind of sort of in a romantic relationship, even if it was a slow burn, he does have these really intense feelings for her. And deep down, he does want to try for something else. But also, kind of deep down in there, he feels like he doesn't deserve a second chance for something better or something good. Like, he feels like he only deserves the bullshit bottom of the barrel stuff that he's had his whole life. And her being something new and something that he can't really predict, he doesn't really know how to handle it. So his first instinct is to, you know, push it away. Like, no, I don't want this because it's just gonna turn bad anyway. So there's no use in getting my hopes up. I don't wanna get involved with this. She starts getting pretty beat up, and he's kind of trying to calm Papyrus down, and it's kind of only making it worse because Papyrus is just getting more angry because he's taking it as his brother is defending the human even if he's not physically fighting back. And he attempts to take a hit for her, and that particular hit was really, 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 really bad. And it almost killed her. Sure, she could have reset, but in her mind, she didn't know that the timeline or whatever reverses after she dies. And it technically goes back in time. She didn't realize that. Like, well, she might have a little because she died a few times fighting Asgore. But she didn't want to have to go through all of that all over again. She didn't like the expression that Sans had on his face. She didn't like how, like, broken he sounded. Like, it in a way physically hurt her. Not actually physically to where, like, it injured her or anything. But it didn't sit right with her. And she didn't want to have to go through the same thing if she died or gave up or whatever. She was going to power through, and she was going to get through this. Now, they get to a certain point in the fight, and Sans actually starts to help her. Now, help her how, you would think, right? Because he's not good at fighting, but he is. He's actually technically better than his brother. It's just that he chooses not to. And it isn't because of any mercy thing or because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. It's absolutely nothing like that. If he was in a situation where he needed to defend himself or he needed to do something in order to protect his own life, he would absolutely do that without a doubt. But against Papyrus, it was different. Because in the underground, Papyrus is all he has. Papyrus is his only family. Despite how he treats him, that is the only person he knows and trusts, despite his behavior, right? But now he has Rose. He knows at least 80% that he can trust her. She hasn't done anything underhanded or dirty towards him. She's never thrown him under the bus or thrown him to the wolves or anything like that. Like, she's never done anything like that. But he still is a little hesitant. And, real cheesy, like, because I'm a romantic. They end up having a sort of dance sequence towards the end of their fight, where she just asks him to trust her. And secretly, because there would be like a little cut scene and everything, where the two of them found like a quiet corner at like Grillby's or something, and they would just kind of like dance with each other, right? But not like club dancing, because club dancing is freaking trashy. They would do a sort of like ballroom, maybe like a tango sort of like dance. I can't think of what it's called. It has a lot of like twirls and like a little bit of dipping and like close body to body contact for the most part. It just looks overall like really romantic and cute, okay? And they start moving like that during like towards the end of the fight. And of course, this makes Papyrus even angrier because it's like, well, what the hell are you doing? Are you taunting me? Like, what are you doing? And they're actually able to injure him enough to get him to sort of concede in the fight. He's not beaten yet, but enough for him to sort of take pause in the fight and to halt his attacks for the time being. And then Rose sort of starts leaning into Papyrus, not berating him, but she's pretty much just telling him, like, he's your only family, bro. And you were actually going to kill him because he was going to leave you behind? with as fucked up as the world that you guys live in is, you would be willing to take out the only person that you know for without a fact, like without a doubt, not without a fact. The only person you know without a doubt that has probably either always supported you or would never actually do you wrong. You're just so upset at the thought of them possibly leaving you behind that you were ready to kill them for it. She called this nigga pathetic, turned her back on him, and told Sans that we're leaving and that we're going to start a new life on the surface. And for just a few moments, Papyrus is kind of sitting there like stunned because no one's ever talked to that man like that. No one's ever even raised their voice at him before. Because of course he's high ranking in the Royal Guard, and speaking any kind of crazy way towards a member of the Royal Guard, would probably get you killed. But she don't give a fuck about none of that. They're the freaking the guard hierarchy has it don't do shit for her. She don't care. And Sans looks at Papyrus during those few moments where he's just kind of sitting there, kind of reeling from what Rose just said to him. And he kind of he can't think of anything to say, so he kind of just looks away from him, shakes his head, and he's also made up his mind that he is just going to go with Rose to the surface. So then they're turning to leave. And of course, since Papyrus isn't completely incapacitated, this man tries one last ditch effort to stop them from leaving. And he just about does it. He just lets up one jagged bone, right? Just one more attack. That's all he can muster. And it hits Rose, right? It hits her, like, near the corner of her heart. So it punctures it ever so slightly. Not enough to kill her. But obviously, any sort of puncture to the heart would be extremely painful, right? But it doesn't take her out. She, like, screams out in pain, tries to, break off a piece of it to, get off of it, that sort of thing. And Sansa's stunned because he's like, why? Why are you doing this? Why don't you want me to have something like you have? Like, you have all of these good things. She's the one good thing I have, and you want to take that away from me. As your brother, I've only ever given you everything you wanted. You wanted to become powerful. I showed you how to fight. I showed you how to defend yourself. I taught you everything you know. I'm the reason you got to where you were. I showed you how to be intimidating, how to survive in this world that we live in, and you're trying to take something away from me. I've never taken anything from you. And so, that's the first time in the entire fight that he actually points an attack at Papyrus. And of course, he obviously still, despite it all, does not want to kill his own brother because he's just not that type of monster. But the attack is powerful enough because he's already injured. That attack is enough to get Papyrus to just be done with the fight. And, now he's laying there in a heap, not dead, but he can't do nothing else. He's fucking done too. He helps Rose. They go to the barrier. And I know under normal circumstances in the OG game, the barrier breaking is supposed to be a combination of all of the souls, like 7 of them, coming together for like one united wish to like break it and free the monsters and blah blah blah. In my AU, one soul is enough to break the barrier, but it has to be a soul that is not determined, that is what's the word, Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. I don't want to use the word determined. Freaking desire, maybe, because determination and desire are two totally different things. A soul with enough desire to return to the surface would be able to break the barrier and leave. In that particular moment, it's Rose and Sand standing before this huge white glowing wall that's the barrier. And she just thinks to herself how she's going to try to show him what life can be like on the surface. Yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but there's always going to be some good there. And that will be what you'll be able to look forward to. And I'll be there with you every step of the way. So they both touch the barrier, they're able to break it, and they leave. Fast forward a good more couple years, some of the monsters that were in the underground already come to the surface. Asgore and Toriel, they make up. They, start talking to like the human government and blah blah blah. Monsters integrate to the surface and things like that. And at this point, they are engaged / married. And they, depending on which portion of the particular like timeline or whatever, not that I'm thinking about at the moment, but for this portion of the AU where this genocide route would be happening, that this song made me think of, it would be during that same timeline when they had both of their children. They always have a boy first. His name is Chase. And then they also have a second child who's a girl. In this genocide AU, there's supposed to be some maniac that's going around and killing monster families. No, it's not Papyrus. It's some random ass human. We'll just call him Player, right? Now, in normal pacifist endings where they end up on the surface, they don't really go into like a whole lot of detail. They kind of just, everyone got to the surface and everything was happily ever after. For mine, it was kind of sort of the same thing. There were some difficulties with like monsters being integrated, regulations on magic, that sort of thing. But in this genocide version of that same timeline where this murderer is present, they're targeting families that are mixed. So families that are with monsters and humans. Rose and Fell, as in Underfell Sands, they would have been the first most notable monster hybrid couple. And it isn't because, she's cool with the queen. I mean, she kind of was. But she doesn't make a big deal about it. But since he was the first monster on the surface and she was the first human to openly accept him without, there being any sort of weird hang-ups about it, made him a prime target. Now, they don't live like a super big flashy life or anything like that. Fell at some point opened his own construction company. It's going fairly well. The workforce is mixed between monsters and humans, people that he's put through the ringer to make sure that, they'll make good houses for families that need them, blah, blah, blah. And he himself made a house for his wife for them to, start their family. And at this particular point, their son is maybe in the 4th grade, something like that, fairly young. And their daughter, even younger, she's tiny, maybe like kindergarten, right? And this maniac, right, somehow finds out where they live and Rose wasn't at home when the maniac found out where their house was. He breaks in, fell his home with both the kids, because I think maybe it was like a snow day or something, but it was sometime in the winter. A time where there wouldn't be a lot of people outside. People would kind of mind their business if they hear anything, suspicious happening outside, right? He breaks in, obviously feels like, what the hell is going on? Like, who the hell's banging on my door? And then he immediately goes into, like, protection mode. He's like, well, Chase, take your sister, go down to the basement, don't move until I come get you, and call your mom. I'll be right back. Goes, faces the dude. He's like, well, who the fuck are you? What are you doing in my house? If you know what's good for you, you'll fucking leave. Like, I'm pretty sure you have no idea whose fucking house you just walked up into, but it would be in your best interest to just leave. They get into an altercation, and despite his training, the dude is hyped up on something. Who the fuck knows what? And unfortunately, falls. Not like physically falls, but the maniac wins the fight. Because he's a fucking murderer. He is a murderer. But the good thing, kind of, but not really, is that when he falls at the hands of the maniac, Rose feels it through their soul bond. So even before she got a phone call from her son saying that somebody broke into the house, she felt it. The moment her husband was gone, she felt that shit. And it put her entire system into like overdrive, because she knows that he was at home with their children. And like any mom would be like, yo, my fucking kids are in danger. I gotta go. Well, hell, my husband's in danger. I gotta go. And at that particular moment, what she was feeling was mostly panic. She couldn't feel specifically that he died, but she just knew that something was fucking wrong. Something very, very bad was happening. So she rushes home. By the time she gets there, the maniac is still in her house. But she doesn't hear any crying. She doesn't hear her husband yelling. But in the living room, when she goes in, she sees a large amount of dust. And if you know what monsters leave behind when they die, you don't want to be seeing the dust in a household. You don't want to see dust in a household where monsters are supposed to be residing, because that is not a good sign. And it's very distinct. It's not like, it's probably not specified in like the actual game or anything. It's just described as dust. But I, under like my own like headcanon, I guess, monster dust is like salt. The way it feels, it would smell a lot like who it belongs to, but if you were to like sift your fingers through it, it would have the texture of salt. So you could obviously like gather it up and it wouldn't be like just, actual dust. Like, it has a physical sort of like feel to it. And she recognizes the smell that's all over her living room at this point. That is her husband's dead body on the floor. And then she immediately starts panicking even more than she already was. Because if this is my husband, where the fuck are my kids? And she thinks back to what they had already talked about when it comes to there being things that happen in the house. They had a panic room in the basement. They'd gone through it with Chase so many times to where he was able to do it without there being any sort of problem, where they would trust him to be able to be safe in that room. Unfortunately, the maniac got a hold of some tools that were in the back shed, and he was able to get into the panic room that was in the basement, because Rose unfortunately just didn't get there fast enough. And he was also able to get to the kids. Now I know this is sounded hella morbid, but like it's a genocide route, bro. It's not a happy ending. She can smell both of her children as well, and this breaks her mentally. And like she hears something coming from upstairs. So whoever was responsible is still in her house. Now, she grabs a chain that they had just loosely in the basement. They were planning on using it for something. Didn't know what. She grabs it, runs upstairs, and she starts calling out to whoever the hell it was. And of course, the maniac, in real maniac fashion, just comes sauntering out like nothing's fucking wrong. And she sees that they're covered in a sort of powdery substance. And since it's still dust in a way, we can just presume that these particles that are on their clothing would be the remains of her family. So she starts flipping right the fuck out. And then they start a fight. Now, the way that I was visualizing the fight in my head, Sans's, like OG Sans's fight, the way I was visualizing Rose's freaking fight, that I would probably call Mother's Grief. If it were actually feasible to make it happen, that fight would take you hours, and not even trying to memorize her attack patterns or anything like that, but it would take you hours. You would either give up or you would have to sit and do it 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 and do it. Because her gimmick, her soul is perseverance. And if you know what perseverance means, it means that despite what the fuck is going on, you gonna push through. And in this particular moment, she's not dying until she avenges her family, her husband, her firstborn child, and her baby girl, right? This person took away her family, and she is not going down until they pay the toll for that. So she effectively has 4 health bars. One for herself, one for her husband, and one for each of her children. Now, she also has pretty high HP because of her soul trait. So even if you think you're going to be able to wear her down and this, that, and the third, no. It's going to take you a while still. Aside from her having high HP, she also has high defense. And there are also phases. There's the beginning phase where she's a bit more erratic with her attacks, where they're a little more wild, harder to predict, kind of all over the place. And then as the fight draws on more and more, they get a bit more calculated, a bit more powerful, because it goes from being more so erratic to more calculated, more angry. You get what I mean? Because it's really starting to set in that her husband and both of her children were murdered by the person that she is in a fight with right now. In the entire duration of this version of Underfell, this is the first time she has ever been in a fight with the intent to kill. And it wasn't even against another monster. It was against another human. And technically, since it's a genocide route, at some point, she does eventually get so injured that she cannot continue. And she also falls to the maniac. But the maniac don't get off scot-free either. They also die. They just die after she does. But she ends up going down knowing that they are not going to make it out of her house alive. And she's fine with that.
But there's my story time.
For what I was supposed to be drawing this whole time, but I just decided to give context. But of course, I got sidetracked, and I had to give y'all the full background. But I'm gonna quit yapping, and I'm gonna start drawing, cause it's already been an hour, and I was just yapping the whole time. Why didn't y'all tell me that much time passed? We could have been doing something else. Nah, but honestly, it's been on my mind like all week. The particular song that inspired me to think up a genocide ending for my AU. Let me see. Oh my god. The song is called, like, I literally just like listened to it for the first time a couple days ago, like earlier this week. It's called Upside Down, and it's actually an Alistair fan song. You know Alistair from Has Been Hotel, if you didn't know for whatever reason. The song is about him. And I'm not gonna go off on a tangent about the song, but I really, really liked the song. And when I was on one of my rotations, where when I find a new song, I kind of listen to it, like literally the whole day, until I start memorizing the lyrics, and then the gears in my brain start turning. I start visualizing, making my own kind of music video about it, right? I thought of Rose. I thought of Chase. I thought of her daughter. I thought of Fell. I was like, ooh, that sounds really good, actually. I think I'm gonna, and then I didn't. But I've been keeping it like in my brain like all week that I was gonna try and get some of this like down on paper at some point. And technically I kind of did earlier today, but I think I left that tiny notepad at work. But it was mostly in relation to Rose's attacks. It wasn't even like about the others. It was mostly just about her attacks. Like, I was visualizing how the attacks worked in time with the music, because that's how I was visualizing it in my head. I was listening to the song, and I'm visualizing as the song is playing how the fight is working. Like, her attacks are hitting at the same time as the music, that sort of thing. And it's kind of just going back and forth. And, Digijijibee. Yeah. It was just a really, really long tangent. But isn't that why y'all come, just to hear me talk? They actually like removed them. Okay then. I'm also still wondering if you can even hear the music at all. Maybe not. I don't know. Let me see. Okay. So you can hear it just a teeny weeny bit. But the song is called, I'm pretty sure I said what it was called already, but I forgot to say who it was by. It's called Upside Down. It's by Black Griffon and Basic. And it has a picture of a human Alistair and a shadow of his demon self like in the background. So I think you can hear it just a teeny weeny bit in like the background. But don't pay that mind. I don't own that. I'm not the owner. I'm just a person listening to it. Y'all listening to it with me. I don't own that shit. It's not mine. I'm not claiming ownership. I don't know nothing about it. I just like the way it sounds. And I would keep ranting, but I'm not too good at talking and drawing at the same time. It's got to be one or the other. That sounds interesting. Ooh. But nah. We're gonna go right back to my regular music. I might not even be able to see it because it's zoomed out a little bit, but wonder if that's any better. Probably not. Maybe not. I don't know. We're gonna see in a second. Maybe. really haven't drawn in like so long. So don't roast me, okay? I need something tiny. I said tiny, not big. Freaking. But actually, I have like an actual like pen for this. I'm probably covering it a whole bunch. Whoops. My feet are so cold right now. It's crazy. But you want to know what's even crazier? I don't think I have a black pen out here. And all of my pens I packed away like over the weekend because I wasn't using them and now I need to use them. But alright, hold on. I got my thing of pens. Now I know I had. Oops. Here's my black glitter pen. Get a regular black pen. Get a blue one. I need my nice blue pen. I need to go to Five Below and get another pack of these. Like, look at this blue, bro. Shit's empty as hell. I burn right through that. I also gotta have a nice red. And are both of these two different kinds of silver? I think that's all I need for right now. Oops, forgot to put this back in. I actually need a purple now that I'm thinking about it. It's not really the right shade of blue, but it's still blue. I mean, neither of these are the right shade of blue because I don't have a dark blue pen. This is why I like line art so much better. Look at how much personality I lost just then. Erasing that tiny bit that I did. And of course, like any of my other OCs, she would have her red eyes. And if I could make it happen, dark blue hair. Yeah, that's all the way out. Whoops. Might as well just leave the cap off, honestly, because I keep putting it on and then taking it off. Putting it on and taking it off. Just leave it off. Now, in the actual story, her hair is not this light. It's definitely not this light. It's definitely a good bit darker. Not as vibrant either. I don't know if it would work. Probably not. I'm trying to think of how I could darken this blue up some. Because it's way too bright. Way too bright. It's kind of doing it, actually. That could work. Yeah, it's a good, like, in between dark blue. It still is also not the correct shade, but it's kind of dark enough. Maybe not 100%, but close enough. Also, let me untie y'all. I should probably just set y'all down at this point. Nah, this isn't gonna work. Hold on. Whoops. Turn that back white. Thanks, guys. Actually, now you're blocking my light. No, you're about as physically close to the paper as you can get. If you get any closer, like, I don't know. Y'all are gonna, like, phase into the paper or something. Now my nose is running. I don't know why. Well, nah, I just sneezed, so never mind. Ignore that. She does not have pencils and eyebrows either. No, don't judge me. I've never drawn a ball and chain in my life, okay? So if it doesn't look that cool, don't roast me. Also, it's been so long since I've been in like an actual like art class. So if the depth on my shit looks off, still don't roast me. I'm rusty, alright? Maybe this one doesn't make sense to be where it's at. I don't know what happened with that one. We're just gonna ignore that. I think that's good enough, honestly. I feel like trying to put one there is just gonna throw it off. I feel like there should be one there in the middle somewhere. I just don't know where it should be pointing. So you know what? I think I'm just gonna leave it empty. I'm gonna leave it empty. Black glitter. Ugh. Just keep getting glitter on my hand, so I'm just gonna put that there. I need the lighter of the two silvers. Where'd the top go? Ah, found it. Okay. Excuse my naked hams. So I think what I will do is also draw her chain as well. And no, it's not gonna be like a super detailed chain because again, I'm fucking rusty. And I'm also getting a little sleepy because I went to a work function today. And that was a little more socializing than I was planning on doing this week. So, yeah. And I didn't get home till like maybe 15-ish minutes to, what's it called? Plus I can always fix it later. So I know chains are supposed to be mostly like squarey. Okay, they kind of went from being like squared off to just circular. Probably because that's a little faster. Where's my regular black pen? Oops. Keep getting ink on my freaking fingers. So I'm not gonna color the chains in. That's good. That's good. Was focused. There we go. Give it up. Actually, hold on. I'm losing. I'm losing because everything I'm losing. Alrighty. I know it took like 2 hours to get here. But here are our results. We have Rose in all her glory here. Her spike ball, her chain, which will remain uncolored until I feel like coloring it. And her heart/soul, as well as the piece of sands that she has that resides inside her soul because of their bond. Because, you know, that's how it works when you're bonded. You have a piece of each other's souls. And, you know, at least to a certain extent, you can't have one without the other. So, it did take up a lot more space. But during the fight, it was... the influence of the bond was slowly fading off because he was already dead. But, yeet. Now I gotta clean all this up. I don't know why I even did this. Because I'm crazy. And sleepy. That's why I did it. Just gotta make sure y'all don't go nowhere for just this small little time frame here. Alright. Put y'all back over here. Get my mic out the way. I'm used to y'all being like right here. I should put a date on this actually. Today is day 12/4. Almost wrote 24 for the year. I think the last time I actually drew anything was like 2022. It's been a bit since I drew anything, really. At least I think. I actually don't remember. But MP waits. I'm gonna go ahead and go. If you have not already, feel free to hit the description of this video so that way you can join us in the Discord, where you can participate in polls, chat with peeps, share the memes, and have an all-around good old time. Also, feel free to share the screen with someone who just wants to listen to somebody yap about something they were kind of hyper fixated on for like 4 days. And it's still rolling up here anyways. And or if they just need some background noise. And on your way out, don't forget to leave your likes at the door. And I'm gonna see y'all on Saturday. I might have a new but not new game on Saturday, but it depends on if the plans I'm trying to like set up actually happen or not. But yeah. If not, I'll just play something else. I should know at some point early on in the day whether or not my particular plan is going to be happening or not. But yeah. Turn off my light because it's burning my eyebrows. I swear. I don't know what it is about these tiny lights. Not my Christmas lights, but this light I got from Five Below. It's kind of killing me a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna see y'all on Saturday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. EST. Is there anything else I need to tell y'all? I don't think so. Blah, blah, blah. No. Can't think of anything else. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna see y'all later. Okay?